Right. Hello, all of my 7th graders. So, this is going to be our first lesson online. So hopefully everybody has the packets. Sorry about posting it kind of late. I'm going to try to get my videos up a little bit early, but I'm learning new software, so it's proving to be a little bit more difficult than I thought. So this is the first section. It's lesson 7. It's called Subtract Linear Expressions. So, if we just break down the title, subtract, that's going to be the operation subtraction. Linear expressions, so remember those are going to be anything with a variable to the power of 1, okay? Or I guess it could be 2. Well, no, that'd be... But yeah, we're looking with variables. That's what the main point is, okay? So just to introduce the idea, the concept, if we look at the Iditarod, cool. So it's on the first example it reads, the Iditarod is a dog sledding race over 1,150 miles across Alaska. The table shows 2 winning times. So if they have 2 different races, these would be the 2 winning times. This would be 9 days, 11 hours, 46 minutes, and 48 seconds. That's a really long race, right? 9 days, woo! And then race 2 was 9 days, 5 hours, 8 minutes, and 41 seconds. So this could be like race 1 was in 2000, and then race 2 was in 2001. These could be from 2 different years. So remember, what is the difference? So does anybody remember what the term difference means when it comes to the operation? Hopefully somebody said subtraction. And we're going to find the difference in hours, minutes, and seconds between the 2 races. Okay, so first we're going to look at days. 9 minus 9. Well, they don't even have a box over here for days, because if they did, if there was a box over here with a D, this would just be 0, right? Because 9 minus 9 is 0. And then 11 minus 5, that'd give me a 6. And then 46 minus 8, well, let's see. 46 minus 6 is 40, minus 2 more. This would be a 38. 38 minutes. And then 48 minus 41 would be 7 seconds. So the difference of this would be 6 hours, 38 minutes, and 7 seconds. And that's, that's pretty good amount of time, 6 hours and whatnot. Pretty interesting. Explain how you could find the difference in times between any 2 races given the days, hours, minutes, and seconds. So for this, you would just look for the difference. Look for the difference. Look for the difference in each time scale. Okay? In the time scale, that just means you would look in days. You would subtract the days from the days, hours from hours, minutes from minutes, and seconds from seconds. Okay? Can you describe another situation in which finding the difference involves subtracting like units? Well, yeah, there's a lot of different options that could be out there. Maybe if you want to take a minute, pause the video, and try to come up with a few, please do that. One of the things that I thought about would be movie running time. Movie running time. Right? Like, you could have one movie that's 1 hour and 37 minutes long, and then you could have another one that would be, 2 hours and 45 minutes long. So movie running time would be one. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. Another one could be a recipe. Recipe. What I mean by that is, you could have 1 cup and 2 tablespoons in one recipe, and then 3 cups and 4 tablespoons in another one, right? So by recipe, I mean you could have different measurements of, like, let's say water if you're making pancakes or if you're making gravy or something like that. Okay. And I'm sure there's a few more out there. Okay. All right. Turn the page. Alright, so it says up here at the top, when subtracting linear expressions, subtract like terms. Use zero pairs if needed. Alright, and by zero pairs, that just means if you want to, you can put a zero in there to represent something like that, okay? And down here, we're going to go through a couple examples. So it says subtract, use models if needed. So right here we have 6x plus 3 minus 2x plus 2. And visually, here's 6x, right? The big bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 of those, plus 3 of these little squares, 1, 2, 3. So there's 3. So this is our first equation. So this is represented by this guy. And then the next one, this one, is going to be represented by these x's right here. And these x's right here. Because down here, we start off with our 6x plus 3, so that's our original. Now we have to take two of these x's out. So that means we have to take 2 of these bars out. And how many bars are we left with? 4x. And then if we started off with 3, and we have 3 squares right here, well, if we subtract 2 from it, we're going to get 3 minus 2, and we're going to get a 1. Alright, so that states 6x plus 3 minus 2x plus 2 equals 4x plus 1. Okay? Now another way that you could rewrite this is, if you wanted to get rid of the parentheses, make sure to distribute this subtraction sign to both of these. Okay? Okay, so that's going to become 6x plus 3, because that's what's in the first set of parentheses. Alright? And then we're going to go minus 2x minus a positive 2, or minus 2, like that. And then you can put together your common like terms. We have a 6x and a negative 2x, or a minus 2x, and then we have a positive 3 minus 2. And that's another way that you can come up with 4x plus 1. Okay? Alright, down here, 2x minus 3, that's our original. We're going to subtract an x, and we're also going to subtract 2 from that 3. Okay? So here's our x's. We have an x and an x, 2x, plus negative 3, so we put 3 blocks up here, and we got all negatives right here. Okay? And then we're going to go subtract x. We're going to take 1x from here, and then we're going to go minus 2. So that means we're going to wipe out 2 of those x's. And what are we left with? 1x here and 1 minus 1 there. So we get x minus 1. Okay? X minus 1. Alright, if you want to pause the video and try these on your own, please do so now. I am going to run through these solutions, okay? So in this first one, I have 5x minus 9 minus 2x minus 7, okay? So if I want to, I'm gonna put 5 of these bars right here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are all my x's. And then I'm gonna go what is it, 5 minus 9. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like that. And those all represent my negative 1. Okay, these are all negative 1. Negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, and so on. Okay? And then I'm going to subtract 2x from it. Okay? So when I go minus 2x, I'm going to take 2 of these bars out. So 2 of those are left. Or 2 of those are gone. So what do I have left? 3x. Okay? And then I have my negative 1s over here. And now I'm going to subtract minus negative 7. Alright? So that if I'm going to subtract negative 7 from it, so if I'm going to subtract negative 7 from this, that means that I'm going to have to get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And how many negative 1s do I have left? I have two of those. Okay, so if I have two negative 1's left, that would be, whoops, minus 2. So you should have had 3x minus 2 for that one. Okay? Alright, on to the next one. For letter B, I have 6x minus 2x. So if I just go 6x minus 2x, that's going to give me a 4x. And then I'm going to go negative 10 minus a negative 8. Negative 10 minus a negative 8. Whoops, that's an 8. Alright, now remember those two, I'm going to add the opposite. So this becomes negative 10 plus 8. Negative 10 plus 8, I'm adding, signs are different. 10 minus 8 is 2. I take the sign of the larger, is negative 2. So my final solution for this is 4x minus 2. Alright? And that's what you should have for those two. Okay? Alright, so here they go through another example. Okay, they have negative 2x minus 4 minus just 2x. So if you're just subtracting a 2x, you can just put together your common like terms. Alright, so when I have a negative 2x minus 2x, think about adding the opposite, so that becomes a negative 4x, and then my negative 4 just carries over. Alright, if you want to pause this video now and try these two on your own, please do so now. Alright, I'm going to go through these solutions. Okay, so this here I'm going to have 3x minus 5x. Okay, so when I have 3x minus 5x, alright, you just have to think about it as 3 minus 5. Okay, and what's 3 minus 5? Well, since I'm subtracting, the signs are different, right? Or no, I'm going to add the opposite. I'm sorry. So it's going to go 3 plus negative 5. Now when I'm looking at this, these signs are opposite. So I subtract 5 minus 3 is 2, but I take the sign of the larger, so I get a negative 2. Okay? So when you're looking at this, 3x minus 5x, you're going to think kind of like the same way as this, but you're just going to put on the variable x. So 3x minus 5x is going to equal a negative 2x. Okay? And then for the next part, I have negative 2 minus a negative 4. So when I go negative 2 minus a negative 4, remember I'm going to add the opposite, negative 2 plus 4. And then when I'm adding, signs are different. So I subtract 4 minus 2 is 2. I take the sign of the larger, so this would be a positive 2. So then the solution for C you should have had was negative 2x plus 2. Alright? Negative 2x plus 2. Alright. Let's go to the letter D. So now I have a 4x minus a negative 2x. So I have a 4x minus a negative 2x. I'm subtracting, so I'm just going to add the opposite. So this becomes 4x plus 2x. 4x plus 2x is just a 6x. And that's good. Don't have to do much there, just remember to add the opposite. For the next part, however, I do have a negative 4 minus a 2. Negative 4 minus 2, I'm going to add the opposite. So negative 4 plus negative 2, signs are the same, so I just add them. I get a 6, but they're both negative, so I get a negative 6. So then your answer for this should have been 6x minus 6. Alright? Alright, class. Not bad. Not bad. And remember, if you have any questions on these, please make sure to write them down. So then when we have our Zoom meeting tomorrow, which I will be putting up later today, you can ask the questions that you have. Okay? Alright. Alright, use the additive inverse to subtract. Remember the additive inverse? That is when subtracting integers, you add the opposite or the additive inverse. Now we've kind of been doing that already up here, okay? But this time we're going to expand it to everything in the parentheses. So right here, if we have 6x plus 5 minus 3x plus 1, that 3x is a positive, right? We're subtracting a positive. So when we add the opposite, that means we're going to have to add a negative 3x, okay? And that's what they do down here. And then we're going to have to add a negative 1, and that's what they do down here, okay? And then 6x minus 3x, I'm left with a 3x, and then 5 minus 1, I'm left with a 4, okay? On this next one, negative 4x minus 7, parentheses, minus, new parentheses, negative 5x minus 2, all right? So now right here, we're subtracting a negative, so we have to add the opposite, so we're going to go plus a positive 5x, okay? And then here, this is a minus 2. So we're subtracting a minus 2. So that means that we have to add the opposite. So that means we have to add a 2, okay? And then we have a negative 4x plus 5x. So you have to think of this, negative 4 plus 5. Negative 4 plus 5, they are opposites, so we subtract 5 minus 4 is 1. And then 5 is larger, so that's why it's a positive 1x, or just x, whatever you're comfortable with. And then over here we have a negative 7 plus 2. Negative 7 plus 2, we're just left with a negative 5. All right. If you want to pause the video and try these two on your next or on your own, please try on your own. Yeah. All right. For this next one, so I'm going to rewrite it like this. I'm going to rewrite the first one like they have up above. So I'm going to rewrite my 4x minus 3. And then we're subtracting a positive 2x and subtracting a positive 7. So that means we have to add, add the opposite. So we have to add a negative 2x and we have to add a negative 7. Okay? So now what's 4x plus a negative 2x, or 4x minus 2x is just 2x. Negative 3 plus negative 7, they're both the same, so we can just put those together and we get a negative 10. Okay? So the answer to letter E is 2x minus 10. Okay? Now, for the next one, I'm going to write it a little bit different. I'm going to rewrite this first part, 5x minus 4. And I'm not going to use parentheses, okay? Because I'm going to distribute, if you remember what distribution is, I'm going to distribute this negative or this subtraction to everything in the parentheses. So now that minus 2x, I'm just going to go like this, just like a minus 2x. And then that positive 3 becomes a minus 3. And then you can go through and just put together your common like terms. I have a 5x and a minus 2x. 5x minus 2x, I'm left with the 3x. And then I have a negative 4 and a negative 3. So negative 4 minus 3, I'm going to add the opposite. Negative 4 plus negative 3, and I get a negative 7. So your solution to F should have been 3x, sorry about that, 3x minus 7, like that. Alright? Alright, hopefully you wrote down any questions that you may have. Just for tomorrow's meeting, try to get 1, 2, and 3 finished. Just try to get those 3 problems done. Alright, short and sweet. Alright? Thank you, class, and I will be posting when our meeting is tomorrow up on Google Classroom later today. Alright, have a good night.